Live, Laugh, Larceny discusses true petty crimes that may be disturbing to some.
Or could be easy listening to all you psychopaths out there.
All stories are based on actual events, but details may vary.
Listener discretion is not advised.
Live,
Laugh,
Larceny. Welcome to Live, Laugh, Larceny, as American as deep-fried cigarettes dipped in ranch dressing. This is Trevin.
And I'm Amanda. Yum, yum, yum. What an intro.
Thank you. I think this episode comes out the day before 4th of July, or maybe it's the day after 4th of July.
Oh, man, I didn't even think about that. That is coming up, isn't it? So, Trevin, what is your dreadful dilemma?
My dreadful dilemma is I'm feeling myself evolving.
All right.
And it comes in the form of being outside.
Oh.
You see, as a kid growing up on the farm, and my mom loves to bring this up still to this day, is, Trevin is the kid that doesn't like to go outside. Trevin doesn't want to do things outside. And it's true, I like to play video games. And it's because I lived on a farm where everybody was doing roping up cattle and working wrenches and making the fence work better and stuff like that. And I was just like, well, I don't want to do that. That sucks.
Right.
So then it turned into Trevin's not the guy who likes to go outside. So lately, I've been spending more time outside. You've experienced my lovely new deck furniture.
Yes.
We got the new big umbrella.
Yep.
And for the last, 4 or 5 stories, I've written almost all of them exclusively outside.
Have you?
Yeah, I just sit outside, listen to the white noise of the birds and the lawnmowers, and I just write my story outside.
That's beautiful.
We all heal from the sun and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I feel better. I feel like I'm a little more in tune with my body. And I am actually really liking it. If I can go take a walk, I'll go do that. Or if we can get a chance to have a meal outside, we'll do that.
Yeah.
Go get drinks on a patio is one of my favorite things, or rooftop drinks.
Yeah. I just took my daughters outside on the deck this morning and had breakfast outside. I even brought her little high chair out there and everything.
There's just something about it that feels so nice. During COVID, when I worked from home, I had the windows open all the time. And I think maybe as a kid, I was fighting it because my mom had pigeonholed me as the kid who doesn't like to go outside. And then it turned into, well, I think I'm starting to like it, but then maybe to spite my mom and to be this person, it's like, yeah, I will be exactly what you say I am. I'm not going outside.
Yep.
But I realized that going outside is a lot like drinking beer. If you just do it enough, you can find a way to enjoy it.
So is this the dreadful part of it, that it took you this long, or?
I'm saying that I finally built a tolerance to going outside.
Yeah.
And it does go down kind of smooth. Like, I don't mind it. I finally am fighting against the label that I was given as a child and saying, you know what? No, I can change and I can sit outside and it's okay.
It's more than okay.
I'm still me, even though I'm enjoying the outdoors a little more.
You just didn't like the outdoor activities that were given at the time. And now you have other outdoor activities that you like. So it probably makes you enjoy the outside more, right?
Right.
Yeah. Evolving, ladies and gentlemen.
Witness my evolution.
Well, I also have a dreadful dilemma. It has to do with a new podcast that I've been listening to. And it's no shade to the podcast itself whatsoever. It's actually like on the top of the charts right now. And I have nothing but good things to say. I think it's a heck of a con artist type of show. So if you're into like a show about a con woman who like fakes an illness and all these crazy things like this, then definitely you'll want to check it out. My problem, my dreadful dilemma about it is the name. And the reason is that the name is called SCUManda.
Oh, it's Scam.
Yes.
SCUManda.
SCUManda.
Okay.
Yes. Scamanda.
I thought you said
SCUManda.
SCUManda.
Did it sound like that?
Yeah.
SCAManda. Okay.
That might be our episode title.
SCUManda.
SCUManda.
SCUManda. We're the knockoff version. I may not be faking cancer, but here we are.
Scum.
Just scum. But no, she is giving a bad name for all of us Amandas out there once again.
Yeah, it sucks having a common name.
It really does.
I mean, there's probably plenty of Amandas that do good, but I can't think of one. Amanda Seyfried, Amanda Pete, although she hasn't been in a movie in forever. There are a lot, but it is just like in jobs and in relationships sometimes. It's people only want to speak up when you're doing the wrong thing.
I know.
And I'm only seeing Amanda in the spotlight when Amanda's being bad.
Right? Because, like, people want to hate on Amanda Bynes, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I actually have told a couple stories where the criminals were named Amanda. And then here we go. One of the most popular con artist podcasts, and my name is in the title. It's just dreadful.
A funny thing about that SCUManda thing, I don't really know anything about it.
Okay.
But for the longest time, I thought SCUManda and Scandival, I thought that was all the same thing. And so when people are talking about it, I was just like, God, this thing that Amanda won't shut up about is everywhere. No. And then I realized SCUManda was not somebody who was Scandivaling.
Oh, God. No. Totally different situations. One of them about my beloved Vanderpump Rules, which they just started filming the next season.
Oh, my.
But no, totally different. So, Trevin.
Yes.
We're going to be playing some trivia now.
Why don't we?
Whoa. Trevin, we do not have the rights to say that.
Let's have a fun time.
And you're first, right?
I am first. And I'm going to do a little bit of history. This is a fun one. It's not too terribly dark, but it will deal with funerals.
Okay.
So my trivia question is, which historical figure famously had their pet parrot thrown out of their funeral for swearing too much? Is it A, Andrew Jackson, B, Mark Twain, or C, Benjamin Franklin?
This is someone that we have talked about a few times on our show, and I can't remember what the quote was or what episode it was, but I misquoted this guy. So I'm going to go with C, Benjamin Franklin.
And you have lost.
Dang it.
It was Andrew Jackson.
Okay, tell us more.
So I'm coming to you from Medium.com. The 7th president, Andrew Jackson, had himself a little parrot by the name of Paul. And that was just Paul as in Pauly shortened, so it's P-O-L-L.
Oh,
not
okay.
P-A-W-L. He originally had got it for his wife, Rachel, but after she had died, the African gray parrot became his. And I don't know if he really wanted it or not. I couldn't find any stuff on how he felt about it, but they said that he was a bit of a gruffer guy, which would make a person believe that he probably also was a bit of a potty mouth.
I see where you're going with this.
Yes. So his wife dies. He's now this old man widow. Is there a name for that?
Now you're just blowing my mind. I think that anyone can be widowed, but I don't know if a male is called a widow. That's a really good question.
So he's a man widow, and he's mourning. He's already a gruff dude. He's got this bird, and I imagine he's just spending all night drinking whiskey and cursing at the ceiling. And then he dies. And when he died, they had his parrot there at the funeral, and they said that the bird was just screaming obscenities and cussing the entire time, interrupting stuff that was going on. All the ladies were like clutching their pearls.
Oh my God.
And they said, get this bird out of here. The presidential parrot was, quote, excited by the multitude and let loose perfect gusts of cuss words. People were horrified and awed at the bird's lack of reverence.
Why was the bird there in the first place? He wanted the parrot at his funeral?
You know, I don't know if he wanted the bird at his funeral or
Okay.
I don't know what the time span between his wife dying and him dying was. Maybe he was kind of known for always having the bird with him after that because he's like, it's my wife's dead bird. It's kind of his fun little quirky character trait now.
Right.
So then he dies and people are like, okay, you know, like if Christopher Robin dies, they're going to have Winnie the Pooh there, sort of a thing. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Sorry for the sad visual.
I mean, but you know how obsessed I am with my animals. If I go, okay, and they're still going strong, I'm not going to be expecting Reptar and Yoshi and Arlo to be at my funeral. It's kind of random, right? I don't know, just a thought. But regardless of why the bird was there, honestly, I find this to be very funny. If it was me and it was my funeral and I was haunting it, I would be laughing my ass off.
Yeah, that would be very entertaining. But now you've given me this ethical dilemma of, would I want my animals at my funeral?
Oh, wow.
I think Boots would travel well, and I think Mabel would, so I would say yes to them.
You would? Okay. It's an interesting hypothetical. I mean, it's just not something I would think about. I guess I don't really think about my funeral at all, because once I'm gone, whatever happens, happens.
Right.
That was very fascinating, Trevin. So,
and they said they didn't really track what happened to the parrot after that, so I don't know where the parrot went to go live after Andrew Jackson died.
What?
I'll say the way the article ended, it was like that bird was carried out of the funeral and never heard from again. That's how they made it sound. I don't know.
Wow. Whoa. That would be something. They just set it off into the wild.
That'll teach you to run your mouth, Paul.
So, Trevin.
Yes.
My trivia this week is actually more dark than yours is. You're into more of just the darker stuff than I am. But I did see this online and it was very fascinating to me, and I'm curious if you know.
Okay.
So here is my question. Which method of the death penalty is making a comeback in America? Is it A, hanging, B, the electric chair, or C, firing squad?
I can't think of where I heard it, but I want to say that people were trying to do something with firing squad. So I'm going to go C as my final answer.
You're right.
I heard it in passing
Okay.
somewhere, but I don't really remember where I heard it.
Okay. You're on to it. So there was an amazing article that I read, and it was on apnews.com. I'm just going to briefly touch on a couple things that they said. If you want to look way more into it, obviously, feel free.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of firing squads is making a huge comeback. Some of the states that are included that are wanting to bring firing squads back are Mississippi, Utah, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and now Idaho. And they have all been trying to pass laws. The reason that this is coming back is apparently because the U.S. is having a hard time getting the drugs that are used for lethal injections.
Oh, it's a supply and demand issue.
Mm-hmm. So pharmaceutical companies barred the use of their drugs because this was not what they were intended for.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there is a shortage of the drug because the pharmaceutical companies are like, we wanted it to be used for this, and now you're using it for this. And I could see it, I guess.
Sort of an Ozempic sort of thing, but with killing people.
Oh my God, the Ozempic thing. Oh God. All of the Real Housewives are on that, and it is just freaking me out. Anyway.
So jealous.
Tangent. So jealous. Trevin. So anyway, because there is a shortage and the companies don't want them using those drugs for that very reason, people are trying to look elsewhere. And there are a lot of debates going back and forth that people are actually saying that they think that firing squads, not every single time, but could potentially be a less cruel way of the death penalty compared to the lethal injection. Just because if it's a firing squad and they're trained for this, I mean, they can just do like a one-shot thing. Mm-hmm. The only negative is that isn't always the case, but it's a debate on which one is the most humane and what to do. It's such a touchy subject in general.
Yeah, it's a weird subject. I'm glad that you explained that the main reason why they were doing it was because of getting the drugs. Because I was thinking, are these busybodies really just needing to think of something to change? They're like, let's change the way we kill people.
Right.
But that makes sense. You're talking about that. So what I would want to know is, why did we stop doing it in the first place? I'm not saying it's because it was a great idea and we never should have left it. Mm-hmm. I'm saying, what was the argument originally to take it away? Was it because people didn't want to sign up to murder other people?
That is one of the things. I was reading people kind of giving their arguments back and forth on a couple different sites, but one of the things that was pointed out is that a clear con to the firing squad is that it is traumatic for the shooters. And it's a very big production, a big cleanup, that sounds so like to even say that, but it's true. So yeah, I think lethal injection probably is less traumatic for the people giving it. I don't know.
I guess you're right. It's kind of the same. Whoever does the injection is no different than whoever pulls the trigger.
Yeah.
They can always find somebody that'll do it.
I know. It's an interesting topic, kind of dark, kind of heavy, obviously. But when I saw, firing squads are coming back, I was like you, like, what is this? The Wild West? What are we doing? And then it's this whole thing about the drugs. So I don't know if this is going to become a thing that eventually all the states in the U.S. do. I'm curious about other countries. So if anyone listening, kind of curious what everyone's doing. I don't know what other countries do. It's just a fascinating, weird thing.
I'm sure that's very different across a lot of countries. But yeah, it's an odd thing. It would be nice if we didn't have to think about how we were going to be killing people. But
right. Just in general. Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be nice if the conversation didn't need to be had at all?
I know.
Oh, well.
So, you know what conversation always seems to perk me right up?
Is it anything about buying stuff?
Advertisements.
Bring it on. And I'm going first with stories this week. I've got another petty crime that has nothing to do with murder.
How do we keep finding these?
It's almost like we left our safe search on. So without any build-up, I'm just going to let the preamble of this one do the talking. So let's get in this thing and let's change some lives today.
Oh, wow.
And here we go. Communication is one of the most underrated strengths of the human race. Sure, we all ruin it for ourselves by communicating awful things to each other.
Hey, fuck you!
But man, the skills can lead to amazing things. Instead of focusing on the importance of communication, let me touch on the ways in which we do communicate with each other. Although we have the animals beat by being able to communicate complex emotions,
I compare thee but to a summer's day.
we've had to rely on our own inventions to expand our reach. With our puny little voice boxes and unexceptional range of hearing, the distance in which we can speak to one another is extremely limited.
Don't call me a dick, lady.
That is why modern technology has focused so much on evolving and upgrading our forms of communication. Imagine this scenario, if you will. You're living in a time before telephones. You just get home after a long day at the cans tied together with string factory. And you heat up a bowl of macaroni and cheese. Once your teeth slowly bite through the smushy, moist cheese tubes, all you want to do is make some sort of announcement to all of your friends and family about how delicious the mac and cheese is. But you can't. The man who runs the city's announcement bullhorn has polio, and Instagram won't be invented for another 130 or so years. You see, it's scenarios like this that led to Alexander Graham Bell inventing the telephone in 1876. You could have ran out your front door and yelled, "Hark! I just had the finest mac and cheese of my like, brethren." But that would have just garnered strange looks from your neighbors, while your target audience never heard you at all.
Guy likes mac and cheese. I don't give a shit.
We can't be like the humpback whales. Their low-frequency tones can travel up to 10,000 miles. Could you imagine that? You're just swimming around, trying to mind your own business, and you can hear echoes of the dumb shit people thousands of miles away are saying?
Crypto is the future.
We had to invent Twitter for that. The humpback whales are living in it. But because our species does not possess these special communication abilities, we invented buildings with natural echoes, megaphones, radio transmitters, the telephone, the internet, and so many other communication-aiding devices. We put it in the evolutionary fast lane and passed the humpback whales, flipping them off the entire time.
Fuck you, whales!
Now, 10,000 miles seems like nothing. On any given day, I can take a picture of a strange growth on my foot, upload it to a shady website out of Beijing, get their non-FDA-backed medical opinion, and save a ton of money on my doctor's bill, all from the comfort of my own home. And this is why we only share facts about whale erections and threesomes, because we don't find their amazing hearing to be all that impressive to us anymore. Today's story will deal with the act of communicating, and a very helpful tool that we, in the modern age, use to stay in touch. So lock yourselves in a room alone, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, and sign out of Facebook Messenger. Because, although I just talked about the importance of communicating, I've got a story to tell, and it's just rude to text during the story. The clock is moving ever so slowly. As the big hand leisurely approaches the 12, Roy's eyebrow finally lets go of the sweat beads it had been gathering. Eureka! He says to himself, as his job's final whistle blew for the day. With everyone heading for the doors, Roy unzipped the top of his boiler suit, exposing the chest hair of a man who was about to party.
Woo! It's Sunday night and the feeling is white!
Caleb shouted from behind.
You need to get some sun on those nips!
Roy chuckled to himself.
That's the plan, dude,
he replied.
I'm gonna get high on a patio, and you know you're joining me.
The two started laughing before enjoying a post-work hug, while the remaining coworkers quietly judged. For anyone listening to this story, you may imagine that Roy and Caleb were a couple of cool guys, with their fun puns on whiteness and their talks about nips. However, that was not the case at all. Roy and Caleb were considered to be a couple of weirdos within the walls of their factory, with Roy being a gruff 51-year-old pothead, and Caleb simply appearing as a 17-year-old juvenile sidekick. The two's dynamic gave everyone at the workplace a case of the ick.
Yeah, this is kind of weird.
Some people assumed they were related, while others thought they may be dating. Either way, their age difference and Batman and Robin-esque relationship was enough to guarantee them their own table at the lunchroom.
Loser's table!
As the two arrived back at Roy's bachelor pad, Caleb poured the two a couple of fresh lemonades, while Roy pulled out his phone to score some drugs.
Did you see that Dunk got a new number?
Caleb asked, while throwing away his freshly squeezed lemons.
He posted a Snapchat story with the new deets. Ah, that makes sense,
Roy replied.
I hadn't heard from him in a bit.
Dunk was a very cool and mysterious drug dealer, a man without age, but equipped with an abundance of wonder. No one knew his real name, and his backstory was a thing of legends and tall tales. Some say he used to be Al Pacino's personal drug dealer in the 80s, while others have alleged that Dunk rolled the joint that gave Jeff Bezos the idea for Amazon. The $1.27 trillion joint, they called it. Either way, Roy, Caleb, and the rest of Dunk's customers respected Dunk and did things on his terms. After writing the number down from Dunk's Snapchat story, Roy put it in his phone and sent Dunk a text.
Happy Sunday, Dunk. It's Roy. I'm looking to get a little sun on my nips tonight while tooting a hooter. Can you hook me up?
The text read. After sending the text, the two got in the living room and began working on a castle Lego set. Dunk was very reliable, but they knew he was a guy who worked on his own schedule. They figured a Lego montage would be all they needed for the drugs to arrive. The odd pair gathered around the coffee table,
I'm so excited.
opened all of the plastic bags and unfolded the directions. Roy barked orders,
Faster.
while Caleb dug through and picked out all the appropriate pieces. They snapped blocks together, stuck stickers on the walls, and topped the whole thing with a big red flag. It was beautiful. After the two had finished, they went to check Roy's phone. Nothing.
Listen, I get that this is probably his busiest night, but a simple response would have been helpful,
Roy said to Caleb, before coming up with a new idea.
I'm calling him.
With the determination of a man with pale nipples, Roy typed the new number in and pressed the call button. It ringed, and ringed, and ringed, until it eventually stopped ringing, going to a voicemail.
Hey, you reached Eric's phone. Please leave your name and number and I'll get back to you.
The voicemail answering message said, before ending in a beep. Roy hesitated for a moment, caught off guard by hearing Dunk's real name.
Hey, Dunk. It's Roy again. I texted earlier, just looking to see if you can sell me some green tonight before the sun goes down. Get back to me as soon as possible. Thanks.
As soon as Roy hung up the phone, he quickly shared Dunk's real name with Caleb. He couldn't believe it. They had shared many conversations in the past speculating Dunk's real name. Together, the two had always thought he looked like a Curtis. But as the two laughed back and forth about the drug dealer, Eric, The sound of Roy's phone vibrating interrupted them. "It's him!" Caleb yelled as Roy picked up the phone. "You guys want to buy some drugs?" Roy said, reading the text out loud. "Oh shit, tell him yes!" Caleb squealed while hugging his knees to his chest. Roy responded with a definitive yes before his phone went off again. "I've got lots of drugs, everything I've had before. Meet me at the good drug dealing park off Crime Street and we will get those nips under the sun before it goes down." Roy once again read aloud. The man and his juvenile friend jumped to their feet and ran to Roy's car. As Roy turned the key in the ignition, he took a sigh of relief while looking over at Caleb. "Dunk always comes through," he said, remembering how nervous they both were starting to get. The two men laughed together, all the way to the drug-dealing park off Crime Street. As the two pulled up, they saw a man standing next to a car. Roy got out and approached the man. "Psst. Yo, Dunk sent me. I'm his new delivery guy," the man said. "What kind of drugs you looking for tonight?" "Look, it's Sunday night and I hate my job," Roy said in a serious tone before lifting his demeanor. "I'm looking to light up a marijuana cigarette with my buddy and sizzle like a piece of bacon under this hot Kentucky sun." "That's what I like to hear," said the delivery guy before snapping his fingers twice, revealing state troopers hidden all over the good drug dealing park. On Sunday, June 10th of 2018, Morganfield, Kentucky police officer Eric McAllister started receiving texts and calls from an unknown number looking to buy marijuana from a drug dealer named Dunk. Once it was confirmed to not be a joke, the Morganfield police and state troopers set up an undercover sting operation to catch the potential drug buyer. The trap caught 51-year-old Roy Hancock and a juvenile that was with him. Upon further investigation, it was found that drug dealer Dunk had inadvertently switched two numbers around in his story, giving all of his clients the number to local police officer Eric McAllister. According to WBKO News, the police found Dunk's identity, but were not releasing it at the time of the article. Roy Hancock was arrested on multiple charges, including gun and drug counts. No reports gave the juvenile's identity or if they were punished, nor did they specify if the number mix-up led to any additional arrests of other clients. If the Spider-Man quote of "great power leading to great responsibility" is true, then we as a species really messed up with communication. We harnessed incredible power and made miraculous achievements. But we made one very big mistake. We let humans use it. For every amazing invention and scientific breakthrough, there's always a human spitting in the face of creation, just using that unbelievable invention to draw a dick or something. Just look at Snapchat. What an impressive tool for communication we have. Sure, a lot of people use it to share their lives and communicate with one another, but let's be real, it's the dick pic app. If Snapchat suddenly banned every account who has either sent or received a dick pic, they would be missing 99% of their daily users. Because that's just who we are as humans. For us, great power means great irresponsibility. Sure, we could band together to maintain something that over time makes life easier for future generations. Or we could throw a brick into a running dryer and watch the entire appliance shred itself from the inside out. Because of our need to destroy, corrupt, and constantly be entertained, we will always take amazing breakthroughs of technology and find ways to use them for entertainment, crime, and all-around stupidity. So now that we all feel a little more in tune with what it means to be a good communicator and how to responsibly use our devices for positive purposes, let's get out there and use technology in a helpful way. I challenge you all to share at least 3 messages of kindness to a friend that you can't easily spend time with. That should earn you enough karma points for your next dick pic.
The dick pic. Wow. I did not see that coming. I thought that the story was going to take a turn where maybe the drug dealer had already been apprehended and so they were using him to get his clients in trouble. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it was just a number switch up.
Yeah.
And it went to a police officer's cell phone?
Yeah, what are the chances of that?
That is wild, truly.
And they must have lived somewhat close to each other, too.
Right.
Because if you're talking like how far an area code spans, for them to be a modest drive to get to wherever he wanted to meet them at, unless he asked them where to meet, I guess.
Yeah, that's just wild. Could you imagine? Okay, this officer, he's just at home. He's just getting these texts asking for drugs. I mean, he's probably like, what did I do to deserve this?
And being a cop, you would think that it's maybe one of your guys messing with you.
Yeah, because you did say at first they thought maybe, is this legitimate? And after figuring it out that it wasn't a joke, they win.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I assume that guy did get arrested, like Dunk too.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they were just bluffing to sound cool in the article, they said they did know who it was. I just wonder if they did get him too and what that all led to. I wish they would have connected that, but I could not find any follow-ups on that.
Dang. Your guy, Roy, did he get the gun charges at the same time?
I'm guessing he just had a gun on him.
Oh, okay. Okay. That maybe he shouldn't have or something.
Yeah, I know sometimes I will purposely just put that in the story, like, and he put a gun in his pocket, or something like that. Yeah. I didn't put it in the story, but I'm guessing he just had a gun on him.
Because if it was just for the weed, that would just be so dumb and so silly.
Yeah, and I was getting really weird information on what their relationship was, because they said that it was like 48 or 52-year-old man, I forget. Mm-hmm. But he was an older man, and they said he was his juvenile sidekick, I think is what it said, or juvenile friend or something. It was something like that, and it was just like juvenile. They didn't give an age, but they said that they both were involved in texting and trying to get the drugs. So you'd think if it was his kid, they would have said his son.
Yeah.
And just not given any information.
Right.
But to just say it was like his juvenile friend...
Yeah, that makes it way more mysterious than it needs to be. What?
It makes me think of a weird age gap Bert and Ernie situation, and
it
makes me feel weird. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but apparently they were both trying to get the drugs and both trying to talk to Dunk.
And he was definitely under the age of 18. That's why they called him a juvenile, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if it was a relative, they just would have said what he was. Mm-hmm. They really could have said coworker if they were both coworkers, I
mean, I don't know if they're coworkers either.
But like if they're just random friends, I mean, to each their own, that just seems like a really big age gap.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a guy in your 50s and you're just hanging out with a 16, 17-year-old kid trying to get some drugs, that's just a little odd.
I agree.
Unless you're a family member, which you'd think they would have said that.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that is very mysterious, but I think you handled it well.
Thank you.
And it is my turn to tell a petty crime. So this is a story also from the news. And let's just say I hope you all are not too hungry while you're listening to this one.
I just had a sandwich.
Did you? Okay, good for you, because I'm actually kind of hungry, Trevin. So
when we made sandwiches, Emily said, you can invite Amanda to have a sandwich if she wants.
Maybe I'll have one in between recordings.
Yeah, let's do it.
Love this for us. So here we go. Have you ever gotten lost in the sauce? I'm talking about the creamy, flavorful sauce that apprehends your taste buds and coerces your brain into abandoning all logic. There is something unique about this recipe. Maybe it's the sautéed temptation, or the aftertaste of rebellion. Or perhaps it's just well seasoned. Whatever the ingredients, the sauce is a powerful one, and ingesting one too many helpings can cause an unquenchable appetite for pettiness. The story I'll be serving today is one full of robust actions and delicious consequences. So remove your elbows from the table and say your mealtime prayers, because we're about to dig in. Mike Marinara was a happy young man living in Perth, Australia during July of 2019. He enjoyed wearing his hats backwards and bullshitting with his friends. But beyond that, Mike had a serious vice holding him back in life: his deep and continuous craving for spaghetti. Mike's love for the popular pasta dish had negatively impacted his life for years. His friends had grown tired of his repetitive noodle jokes, and he continued to ruin first dates by devouring endless bowls of his favorite meal. Finally, Mike knew it was time he'd take a break from spaghetti altogether. It had been weeks since Mike's lips tasted the perfect combination of meat, noodles, and sauce. But it hadn't been easy. Sure, his social life was thriving, but inside, Mike's stomach growled in agony. It was a Saturday afternoon when Mike decided to take a stroll down to his local supermarket for some sodas. Rocking his white sneakers, black skinny jeans, dark baggy tee, and his signature backwards cap, Mike strutted down the store aisles. He quickly picked out 2 carbonated beverages and turned to check out when he smelled it. Caramelized onions, still sizzling hamburger, and the sweet, sweet aroma of steamed tomatoes.
Whoa, yummy!
Mike turned around and began walking urgently towards the scent. He knew that spaghetti was somewhere nearby. Mike's mouth began to water as he could almost taste the smells coming his way. He ghosted the free sample man.
You gotta try my sausage!
And pushed his way through a flock of gossiping grannies just to get a glimpse of where the fresh pasta resided. That's when he spotted it, the hot food aisle, with several varieties of warm prepared meals to choose from. Mike approached the hot food display, eyes fixed on the little foil tubs of spaghetti goodness.
Come to daddy.
Inside himself, Mike's brain and belly were at battle. His brain knew spaghetti was no good for him, but the growls of his stomach overpowered his thoughts. Staring deep into the red marinara sauce inside the open sample container, Mike became lost in the sauce. Still in a trance-like state, Mike selected his tub of warm spaghetti, lifted it to his nostrils, and inhaled excessively. He knew that under no circumstances could he be seen carrying pasta out of the market. It wasn't long ago that Mike had admitted his spaghetti addiction and swore off the savory dish to anyone and everyone that would listen. He couldn't possibly face the embarrassment of being found out this way.
I ain't going down that easy.
So Mike made his way to a grocery aisle, sodas in one hand, spaghetti in the other. He looked around, only to see a laughing father and daughter at one end of the aisle and a distracted mother on the other. Mike knew it was now or never as he shoved the warm foil to-go container down the side of his skinny jeans. He placed his baggy shirt over his pants as a cover, while his thigh rapidly began to heat up. Mike rubbed his hand against the burning container, and he winced with the realization of how hot and ready this spaghetti truly was. He paused momentarily in the middle of the aisle, contemplating his decision. But with the burning intensifying on his leg, Mike began to awkwardly limp to the front of the store. He had only made it to the end of the aisle when the scorching spaghetti became too much to bear. Mike stopped again, somehow mustering up enough acting skills to pretend to look at something on the shelf.
Oh, would you look at that?
But all the movement had shifted the hot box around in his tight pants, causing the lid to come loose and the steamy contents to spill out. More and more spaghetti started to slide down his leg and into his pants, causing Mike to panic. He squatted slightly and pulled down the side of his pants, causing some of the pasta and the burning to-go lid to fall to the floor. In early July of 2019, employees at the Forest Road Fresh supermarket in Perth, Australia, were shocked to discover a trail of fresh spaghetti leading out of the store. After reviewing security footage, an unnamed young man wearing skinny jeans, a baggy tee, and backwards hat was identified as the imposter. Footage showed the young man creeping down an aisle before shoving a hot and ready-to-go container of spaghetti down his pants. As the petty spaghetti thief limped towards the front of the store, the hot container opened and spilled out into his tight jeans. Unable to stand the heat, the man pulls down his pants, leaving a messy trail behind him as he left. The young man is unnamed online. However, many news outlets reported that he was ultimately banned from the supermarket by the store owners. The security footage was also shared on the store's Facebook page with the caption, "Stupidity at its highest form. Putting a hot meal of spaghetti down your pants not only is going to burn you, but will expose you to the public for attempted shoplifting. I hope this saucy story has left you all full and satisfied, because we all know now how dangerous a deep and unquenched hunger can get. I urge you all to feed your soul in the most legal way possible, or else you too may end up past a point of no return. You hated that one with your whole body.
I was just thinking, don't say impasta again.
Yeah.
But you said pasta point, which I will say that's not a pun that I really would have thought was using the word past as pasta. So honestly, you surprised me with going a more tasteful choice than I expected.
Before we jump into this, I just want to clarify that I do not know if this unnamed petty spaghetti man had an actual spaghetti addiction. Obviously, guys, come on.
And what did you say the age was? Did they have a rough estimate?
They didn't say at all. So I kind of just went off of the security footage because they didn't blur out his face. I mean, his name is not out there, but you can watch the video of the guy do the whole entire thing. And it is so, God, it's so awkward to watch. But he looks to me to be maybe like an older teen or maybe younger 20s. Like he looked very young, very lanky guy wearing pretty young type clothes. Mm-hmm. But no name, no age range, just the location and the actual store name was given. And like I said, we don't know his real name. Obviously, that's why I kind of did the throwback to Mike Marinara from our Bananimal story that we had on.
Scotty.
So that was kind of like a little callback. And it kind of fit because the spaghetti, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was too perfect to pass up.
Yeah, that really threw me off because you had started by saying the main character is Mike Marinara. And I was like, okay, so that's the joke. Is the bad guy going to get away with it, or is this guy not even going to be the bad guy?
Right.
So that's the thing that confuses me too, because you say there was surveillance footage and he was banned from the store. So they must have eventually figured out who he was.
Yeah. So the store owners, I believe, knew who it was, or after seeing the footage, maybe they just internally posted a picture of him and was like, if you see this guy come in, tell him he can't come back. I don't know what the deal was. All I know is that only a few of the articles said it. Probably like 3 articles said that he was banned from the store. And not even all articles even said that. So I don't know.
So he's running out of the store, pulling his pants down violently, and he's just dumping spaghetti sauce out his pants as he's doing it.
Yeah, and what sucks about the footage is where it ends, because you don't even get to see him fully leaving the store. Maybe they saw all of that, but I'm not able to. But kind of what happens is he gets the spaghetti, he's in the aisle, and I tried to make it as factual as everything looked. So there was a man and his daughter on one end of the aisle, and what appeared to be a mom, I don't know for sure, pushing like a full grocery cart. So he wasn't even in a completely empty aisle. He was so ballsy. And speaking of balls, I wonder, like, how are this guy's meatballs afterward?
I was wondering if you were going to make a meatball joke in there.
I wanted to. I just never got to it. But genuinely, like, are you good, bruh? I would love to know. But no, he lifts up his shirt, puts it down. He kind of like walks to the end. And then you can tell immediately when he put it in, you can tell that he's like, ooh, this is hot. But he's limping. He's making his way. And then at the end of it, he just kind of pulls it down and just flings out a bunch of it in the lid and then just walks off. So he still had some of it in there. I didn't see the full container come out, just the lid.
I wonder if he ended up being able to eat any of it.
Honestly, I kind of hope so, because it had to be worthwhile in some way.
Yeah, at least just get a little scoop out of the bottom, make it feel worthwhile. Yeah.
Oh my God. So I'm curious to know too, you know, he's limping out, but he has these 2 soda bottles, which I just talked about in a podcast episode, how I always call them pop. For some reason, guys, I called it soda this week. I don't know what it is. But did he pay for the pop? What did he do? Or did he just bolt out? I don't know.
That's a good question. You're just trying to save money on spaghetti? Like,
I know.
That's so weird.
That's another reason why I had to formulate this whole weird spaghetti addiction. Because he didn't put the pop in his pants. He only put the spaghetti in there. So in my mind, I had to justify his weird choice. And I was like, he didn't want anyone to know he was eating spaghetti again. But honestly, Trevin, I don't know.
That's so
he
weird.
never put the pop soda bottles, whatever you want to call it. Now I'm freaking out. Oh my God. But he never put those in his pants. So it's like, what? You were just going to steal the spaghetti.
Maybe he was just like a troubled kid and it was kind of just a cry for help, you know? I'm just going to try to sneak some spaghetti in my pants and see if I get in trouble and get some help.
I wish I knew. I wish I knew what the motivation was. But alas, this is kind of what happens to us each and every week.
That's true. And of all the things to steal and put in your pants, that would be very far from the top of my list.
So connections,
man.
the only thing that I can really say is that both our criminals were trying to seek out a vice of some sort in some way. Also, you did talk about mac and cheese in the beginning of yours, and
Yes.
mine was all about spaghetti. So it did have the carb connection.
The carb connection, okay. We once had the cop connection, now we've got the carb connection.
Right. Your crime didn't have to do with the carbs, but you did have a really good description of mac and cheese at the beginning that did make me hungry.
So we did describe food, and technically they're both pastas, so you don't even have to go as vague as carbs, you can go pasta.
Totally.
But I still like SCUManda as the show, so...
I love that. When I say it out loud, I do say it faster, like SCUManda, and it does sound like
Scum.
SCUManda.
Yeah.
But it should be Scamanda, but that just sounds stupid to me.
Hey, it's fun to me. So, I mean, we talked about Bad Amanda, so this episode can be Scummy Amanda's.
Oh, God. Okay. Please don't make that my new nickname, everyone. Please. Well, what a week, everyone. And I hope that everyone is just having the best time. And just remember, no matter the crime, big or small, in the end, we're all doomed.
Doomed to invite our cussing pets to our funerals.
Bye.
See ya.
We hope you all enjoyed this bowl of petty pasta today. Next time you dine with us, bring a friend.
And if you're one of the good Amandas, follow us on social media. If you're a good person in general, follow us too. I'll take anybody. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, Live Laugh Larceny.
And if you have ever had a cursing parrot, please send us your story and please send us your animal pictures ASAP. livelaughlarceny@gmail.com.
And give our show 5 stars wherever you rate podcasts. Good Pods, Apple Podcast, or Spotify. We'll never get our number wrong on our Snapchat.
He enjoyed wearing backwards hats. Backwards hats? That sounded really weird. Backwards hats. Okay. Doesn't that just sound wrong to you? Or
Backwards hats.
backwards hats?
You said he enjoyed?
Mm-hmm.
He enjoyed wearing his hats backwards? Wearing his
Okay,
hats
yeah.
on backwards?
Yeah, there we go. He enjoyed wearing his
His backwards hat? Hats on back?
Did I clip it?
You clipped it that time. A good one.
Woo! That was like an operatic.
We haven't had a
laugh.
good one like that.
Woohoo! Oh my-